now.
Yep, I see it. All right, Trevor, take it over.
All right. Welcome to another edition of Fathers and Finance. I am your host, Mr. Trevor Evans, along with Mr. Isaac Crumbly, Patrick Gray, and Marcus Hall. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good, brother.
Wonderful.
Doing fantastic.
Wonderful. So we're going to continue this week's topic, right, which is facts and myths of insurance, right? And then we're going to add another topic in there, which is the Jim Crow laws, right? Jim Crow laws. First of all, how was y'all weekend?
Oh, brother, it was good, man. I was pulling against Tom Brady. I like Tampa Bay, actually, but I don't like Tom Brady. But
why do you like Tom Brady? What Tom Brady did to you?
Man, I don't like him, man. I mean, he's the golden child. It's, it's not so much that he's a bad person or anything like that, but
hater.
The tuck rule is for him.
Hater.
The refs are for him. They're having a cookout at his house in Tampa. Him and the refs are having a cookout in Tampa right now. And look, the Tampa Bay defense should get more credit.
Yeah, and they are. Because first and foremost, I am a Cowboys fan. First and foremost, okay.
Okay, we're on the same page. We're on the same page.
Okay. However, you cannot dispute what this man has done. Tom Brady has had 3 Hall of Fame careers in one career.
Right.
You're right.
Okay, 3.
I'm not saying that, Trevor. I just don't like the man. I'm giving the man his credit. Can I just look? Larry Bird's in the Hall of Fame. I hated Larry Bird because I was a Laker fan, but I still couldn't stand Larry Bird. I still can't stand Larry Bird, but he would put a dagger in anybody. You know what I'm saying?
I guess you know what I can feel you because I'm not a LeBron James fan at all. Okay,
oh,
so I get it. I get it. What?
Bron is that shield.
Oh man.
I'm not. So yeah, that's a topic all by itself right there. But yeah, you gotta give Brady his prop because that man has possibly done what will never be done again ever.
Yeah,
ever.
for sure. You're right about that.
I can't argue with that. I don't like Brady, but I can't argue with what you said.
All right. Other than that, the weekends were good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
All right. I spent mine at the dental office. I had a root canal the other day, so you can't even tell, can you?
You ain't still feeling numb, are you?
That's a nah, man. I ain't even getting numbed up, bro.
Oh yeah, like that. Like
Let me tell you something. I was crying this weekend. Okay, that pain. Let me tell you something, boy. I don't know what it is about tooth pain, but I was literally crying this weekend because the pain was so bad. Never again. So, yeah. Anyway, so. Other than that, everyone's week was good. So let's get on this topic now, right? So first and foremost, all right, Jim Crow. Does anybody know what Jim Crow is? Jim Crow laws? Can anybody tell me anything about Jim Crow?
Well, go ahead, Tanisha. I'm sorry. Tanisha raised her hand.
Go ahead, Tanisha. But you on mute though, girl.
You're on mute, sweetheart.
Right.
I realized that. My bad. Okay. When it came to the Jim Crow thing, I just know what my dad told me, and I knew there were like certain laws that they had for state and local statutes for to legalize racial segregation. I do know for a fact that it had a lot to do with a lot of the laws that are in place now, and I put them in quotations because a lot of things that went down back then are still happening. So when it came down to voting rights, when it came down to housing, when it came down to education, Jim Crow has something to do with it. So
right.
Okay. So yes, the Jim Crow laws, yes, but does anyone know how that came about?
Okay, so to hand clap for Tanisha, she actually said the exact definition that I seen on the line. So
my goodness, okay.
She knows her stuff. But Jim Crow came about right after slavery, after the abolition of slavery, and Jim Crow laws were put in place in order to continue to keep the power. Yes, you may be free in person, but they still wanted to have a certain type of power in order to keep the labor force. So the labor force were slaves. So they had humongous billion dollar, how do I explain? I'm trying to explain it, where they had a $1 billion workforce that they got for free. So they was able to make money off of free labor. So all the things that you see that happens in farming, building railroads, building buildings, all of these things that was happening for free. And they wanted to be able to keep that power and keep that money flow happening the entire time. So Jim Crow laws were put in place in order to continue to have that happening for the southern states.
Okay.
Or
y'all gave me the proper book version of what Jim Crow laws is. So let me give you the history of how Jim Crow came about. Okay. First and foremost, Jim Crow was a routine that was done back in the 1800s. Okay. And it was the routine that was thought up by a gentleman named was Thomas Dartmouth Rice. And he had a routine that was actually called Jim Crow. Okay. It was a routine about, slaves that were ignorant, that were, dumb, blah, blah, blah. Right. And the actor that played Jim Crow also played Rip Van Winkle. And that actor name is Joseph Jefferson. Joseph Jefferson was actually born February 20th, 1829. So he was the one that played, he put on blackface, okay? And he was the one that actually played Jim Crow, the ignorant slave person. And that's how Jim Crow came about. So Jim Crow was actually a routine, a skit, okay? That was done to display the ignorance of the black slaves. And so that's how Jim Crow law came about. So if anyone ever asks you, there you go. That right there is Mr. Thomas. Now Thomas D. Rice is the creator of the skit, but Joseph Jefferson is the actual person that played Jim Crow right there wearing blackface. If that was done today, he'd been fired. But that's how Jim Crow came about. And so from those laws, from that era, that's what came the Jim Crow laws, and a lot of those laws are still in place now, but they're hidden very, very, very well. So
very cleverly.
The topic we're gonna focus on tonight is the Jim Crow laws and how they still affect us in the world financially and as a black race. So take it away, Mr. Isaac.
Well, one thing we wanted to get into as far as these Jim Crow laws, I wanted to just speak from a personal perspective. So from the voting rights part of it, I know my mother used to tell me when they were marching and doing all those types of things, that they used to tell her, they would have these, just for black people, not white people, they would go to the voting polls and they would say, how many bubbles are in a bar of soap? Something stupid like that. They would ask people to say the preamble to the Constitution. Now, mind you, the white people in Mississippi, where she's from, didn't know the preamble to the Constitution. I remember one time one of my relatives recited a poem, and because the white man didn't know the preamble to the Constitution, he thought that was the preamble to the Constitution. So they were forced to give him his voter rights card, because neither one of them, the white man nor the black man, knew it, but he was able to just fool them and say that. But one of the things that is carried on, and I wanted to just talk from personal experience.
First of all, hold on, Isaac. I'm gonna ask you because I know, okay?
Right.
Here's the preamble to the Constitution.
Bruh, don't ask me no civics questions, bro. I'm telling you right now. Listen,
the people of the United States.
You just told me.
Your perfect union. Blah 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 blah.
Exactly. Listen, I knew the perfect union part, but that was about it. Listen, you just remembered the exact date You just remember the exact date of Jim Crow, the man when he started to play. You just were like, you know, Jim Crow in 18 such and such on at 7:55 p.m. started to play or whatever. Listen, I don't have that type of memory, brother. Well, I remember that type of stuff. I knew it for Miss Thomasina Washington, my civics teacher, and that was about it. I learned it at that point.
You passed, right? And you passed, right?
I passed. Now, the branches of the government, all that type of stuff I know, but the preamble to the Constitution, not a chance. But what was I about to say? Oh, so my wife and I, our first job out of college, we both worked for the Department of Corrections, the Department of Juvenile Justice, which is how it was the financial part of the Department of Juvenile Justice. And one thing that we learned was how the 13th Amendment continued to work and affect Black people. So we used to see young Black men that made Dell computers, Dell laptops, and they would be paid 30 cents a day to make a Dell laptop.
Prisoners, right?
Prisoners, they were prisoners. And then they would get out and then they would try to go work at Dell because they had the knowledge of how to create a computer working for Dell, and they were unable to go get a job.
I think that's it.
At the same time, this is in the 90s, you know, and I think Tanisha has a slide that talks about some of the things that happened as far as how Jim Crow has proceeded. Right in the 92, 93 area, this is when we were working for them. So not only could these gentlemen not get a job, there was the crime bill that happened, and then there was also a changeover in the music from positive rap with Public Enemy, Poor Righteous Teachers, Big Daddy, all these guys that are rapping positively. It gets switched over to the gangster rap. And so you have an influx of people going into prisons, learning valuable skills, not just computers. I mean, they're building cars, they're building all of these other things that are going on. Then they get out of prison and can't get a job doing the exact thing they were doing in prison because they were dangerous. So what do you mean? So it's just a never-ending cycle. And the 13th Amendment says that slavery has been basically abolished with the exception of prison. So here you've got young Black men that can't even get a job because to do the same exact thing. And this is why it's important for us to continue on with this financial education so that we can have places for our people to go once they get out of job, get out of work. And you see right there, mass incarceration, 1973 to present, and then the 3 strikes law at the very bottom, 1993 to present. And this is one of the first jobs we got when we got out of college, where we were unable to, get a job. These young men couldn't get a job doing very technical work, very skilled work, but they weren't able to work now. So that's what we were looking at.
Now, go ahead, Trevor.
Things of the past, especially things that were of injustice, things like that don't get done away. Okay, they just get restructured, right, and redone, because all the 3 strikes rule is another form of Black codes, Jim Crow, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, this stuff is not going anywhere, I don't believe. All right, and that's why it's vitally imperative that we, as a Black race, increase our muscle, our brain muscle. Okay, because again, the one thing people do is that they do so well is insult people's intelligence. Okay, the reason why I know so much about history and facts and dates stuff is because can't nobody, N-A-N, okay, can't nobody, okay, insult my intelligence.
Right.
All right. You can't just tell me something and I'm gonna believe it.
Right.
All right. You gotta bring some facts with you. Okay. I know this because when I come to the table, all right, to offer something or whatever I'm doing, okay, they want that, the facts, and even that's not enough. All right. So if you don't want your intelligence insulted, learn facts, learn rules, okay, learn history. Yeah, it don't mean nothing to know the preamble of the Constitution, all right, in this venue, okay. Right. But the fact that I know it Can you guess what else I know? Just to know it?
Brother, listen, I don't know why you know half the stuff you know. With all those dates that you know, brother. Listen, all right, so I'm gonna quiz you. I was born March 10th, 1970. This time next year, I'm gonna make sure that you know that date, because you know the dates to the most random stuff. And I'm like, I don't understand how he knows these dates. But the fact, I'm certainly not surprised that you know the preamble to the Constitution.
I'm gonna tell you a secret, man. Okay, most people don't know this, but when I was brought here from Jamaica, I was born and raised. I was adopted by a white family. Okay, my stepfather was white, and we lived in Oklahoma. Okay, so I was privy to not only learning, you know, the black culture, black history, but also the white culture and the white history. So I tell all my friends, look, if you ever want to win a white game trivia, have me as your partner. We'll smash it. We'll smash it.
You'll smash it, huh?
Yeah, because there's stuff that I know that I probably shouldn't know, but I know it. But that's how. Because I mean, growing up in that house, I had to learn that stuff. Okay, to feel part of that family, which didn't help, but still, here I am now.
Right, right. So Trevor, let me ask you this: redlining. You know, for people that don't know, and I'm not trying to. I'm saying this as a positive. I don't think Trevor, if you remember, if I'm saying it right, I don't think Trevor finished college, but Trevor started a bank. All right. Mm-hmm. Trevor started a bank. So that being said, I know you have a unique answer to this question, having started a bank. How has Jim Crow affected the banking industry, and is it still affecting the banking industry today?
Yeah. Rephrase that. Not how has it, it's how
how is it? Okay, my bad. How is it?
Okay, it's a term called redlining. Okay, which people have heard of before. And redlining is where, oh, perfect. Yeah, there you go. Redlining is where when a bank has their footprint, okay, and the footprint of a bank means where they do business, especially where they loan out money at, okay? So in a bank's footprint, a bank will have this kind of map, right? And that map will be in the president or the owner's office. And all the areas where you saw red will be areas where if a person came into the bank, they didn't care what their background was, they didn't care, unless they were white, okay? But they didn't care what their background was, their credit score, money. If they wanted a loan in those areas that was red, they would not get it, okay? And that went on for years, okay? Now, this particular map right here is actually illegal, okay? Well, not illegal, but it's against banking regulations. You cannot have a bank or a mapping system in a bank that shows red areas. That's no longer acceptable, okay? But just because it ain't red.
They changed the color. Right. They changed the color from red to green, right? Or blue, right, or something.
Yes, exactly. So redlining is a strategy that's used by banks, because obviously, what is the bank's business? Money, okay? Right? So the bank's employees are money. Okay, so the banks know that if I send my employees, okay, in that red area, all right, chances are my employees ain't gonna do good, okay? And employees being what? The money, the dollars, okay? So redlining is a term that still goes on, well, it goes on now, and it's areas within the city or bank's footprint that a bank will not loan money out.
Right.
And we see it all the time.
Bank of America just recently got sued a few years ago for redlining started in the 60s.
Yes.
And Bank of America just got sued a few years ago. I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years ago. I can't remember. Time passes so quickly nowadays. But it was very recent. They just got sued.
Here's a little trivia on Bank of America, okay? Bank of America, there's a bank in California called Bank of California, okay? Now, before 1981, okay, branch banking was illegal, all right? If you don't know what that is, branch banking means this: if you owned a bank, okay, in Alpharetta, okay, you could not have a branch in Roswell, okay, or Sandy Springs, okay. So before 1989, okay, branch banking was legal, meaning if you owned a bank, you had one branch, one area, and that was it, okay? Now, in 1989, there's a World Series that happened in California between the A's and the Giants, okay? Now, there's a bank out there called Bank of California, okay? Now, during the World Series, that earthquake
hit.
Yeah, okay? And it destroyed the whole area, okay?
Right.
So Bank of California called the Fed and said, hey, can you please repeal the Branch Banking Act? And the Fed said yes. So then Bank of California began opening up branches all over California, all through Nevada, all through Colorado, all out to Texas, okay? Now, keep in mind, this is when people bank at one bank only, okay? So all these banks are popping up, okay? Now, Bank of California, their colors was highlight yellow, okay? And a bright blue, okay? Matter of fact, it's the colors of the Rams now, the LA Rams, okay?
Right.
That was the color of Bank of California. So because people bank at one branch, one bank, they didn't want to put their money in a bank in Texas called Bank of California, okay? So what did Bank of California do? They say, hey, this plan ain't working, all right? No one wants to put money in our bank. Now, Bank of California is owned by Italians, okay? All right? Now, the plan wasn't working, okay? So what did Bank of America, Bank of California do, okay? People couldn't stand the color, okay? That yellow and blue, they hated it, okay? And nobody in Texas or Colorado or Arizona wanted to put their money where? In California. So what did Bank of California do? One, they changed their color to what color?
Red and white.
White and blue. And then that still didn't work until they did what?
Bank of America.
Yeah, exactly. So they changed the name from Bank of California to Bank of America. So Bank of America is the reason why we have a branch on every corner of the city, okay? Now, if Bank of California is owned by Italians, okay? Who owns Bank of America?
Italy.
The same Italians, yes. Yes. So think about this. People did not want to put their money in a bank that was in California because it's in California, right?
Right.
Okay? Not knowing that the bank isn't owned by, there's only one bank, okay, that's owned by Americans, all right? JP Morgan Chase. Every other bank, okay, is not owned by no American. So if you bank at Wells Fargo, you bank at BB&T, you bank anywhere else but Chase, your money ain't going to the US.
But you know, we don't, that's that whole, we don't want to put our money, that just shows you how divided we are. That, you know, liberal this, conservative that. I'm liberal, I'm conservative in Texas. I don't want them liberals out there in California doing that.
Bank of California's headquarters is not in Charlotte. Where's it at?
I thought it was, well, that's what they used to publish.
Francisco.
For real?
Dude, where is
that's
that?
Right.
And Isaac, which bank sponsors the new stadium in LA?
Sponsors the who?
The new stadium in LA.
That's Bank of America, isn't it?
No, SoFi.
SoFi, talking about the Rams. The Rams.
Yeah.
Okay.
What color is SoFi?
It's blue and gold, isn't it?
The same color as what? The Rams, right? So who owns SoFi?
I have no idea.
Bank of America.
That's crazy. That's crazy, brother.
Yep. The only bank where the money stays here in the US, big bank, okay, is JP Morgan Chase.
Now we got to get some smaller banks going on out there.
Oh yeah, that's where
we got to get our banks going and supporting those. I think I told the story right after the Million Man March. There was a brother in New York City that was trying to get, he was inspired by the Million Man March, and he was trying to get, I think it was something like $3 million in one of the boroughs of New York City from Black churches got deposited every Monday. Every Monday from donations, it was $3 million. And he was trying to get all the churches together to go at one bank, to just have a deposit at one bank so that they could force those people to overcome redlining. So, because they knew that they were being redlined. So they were like, if we can go to Bank of America, we know we can go to Chase, if we know we can go to this bank, and we can get these people to say, all right, this is the Christian Consortium, and we want to get prime rate, because if they're part of this organization, we want to get business loans, we want to get home loans, we want to get it all. And if you don't do that, we're going to take our money out. And then they started talking about, well, it only takes about $3 million or so to open up a bank. So they started looking at it from that point. Well, guess what the problem was? It wasn't white people. As a matter of fact, white people, the white banks were looking forward to them consolidating their money in that bank. So they were looking to receive money from them. They were actually courting them. The problem was ignorant Negroes that were upset that, all right, well, look, how come Deacon Chickenfoot ain't on the board over here, or Reverend Hogmar needs to be on such and such and so. So we were pitting ourselves against each other, and the thing fell down. Now, I'm a Muslim. When I found out about it, I was like, I'm going to be sending my money to New York City to be deposited in that bank just to show my support. And we couldn't get out of our own way to overcome this redlining. So I'm bringing all of that up to say, this is a new day. This is a new group of brothers on here with Fathers and Finances. We're not playing that bull. We believe in operational unity. Doesn't matter where we come from. We pulling our resources together, and we're going to do it all together, and we're going to do it as a family. And we appreciate people like our sister Tanisha being on here, giving us that backup support, and Letha and Angela McKay, our favorite Jamaican, and we and our pretend Jamaican, the Letha.
you know, Isaac, the quickest way to turn around a community is to bank small. Okay, and here's why. The reason why is because up to 70% of a small bank's profit has to go back into the community. Okay,
right.
And if it doesn't, that bank is subject to be shut down. Okay. Also, did you know that even though the government is not allowed to have their hand in banking, okay, the government will subsidize, okay, the growth and expansion of all banks if the bank can prove they require the help. So in other words, if a bank wants a new branch downtown, okay, who gives them the money to build it? The government. If the branch wants a new ATM, who gives them the money to get it? The government. If the branch wants to do, the bank wants anything to do with as far as growth and expansion, who subsidizes that? The government. However, the bank must prove they deserve that subsidy. Okay. How did they do that? By account holders. Okay. So, do you think the small banks are being subsidized? No. You want to know why? Because no one banks small. They bank at where? Chase, Bank of America, the big banks. And here is the thing. Once you become a big bank, you no longer have to put any money in the community. All that money goes where? In the pockets of the shareholders. So think about that. All these small banks that are struggling. You want to know why they're struggling? Because we're not banking there.
Right.
Right? And if that bank wanted to grow and expand, guess who paid for the bill? The government will.
Now, you know who, Trevor, does a good job with that small banking? I want anybody that lives in Georgia, drive up past Atlanta to Pleasant Hill Road exit off of 85 and make a left. And you will see 2 or 3 Asian banks. And I'm telling you, brother, the neighborhood that they've just taken over.
Yep.
Bro, I mean, it's
Yep.
You can't ride down Pleasant Hill for about maybe 2 miles without seeing Asian signs everywhere, and they only bank at their banks.
Yep. Yep.
Only bank at their banks.
Yep.
And they listen, and they not worried about redlining. Black people and Hispanics are suing people about redlining. But you know what? If we banked on our own, we wouldn't have to worry about redlining. You know what? As a matter of fact, it would be black
It
line.
wouldn't even exist.
It would be black line. I'd be like, where is this project at? Put a black line around it. Matter of fact, I put a little black heart around it. I wouldn't put a red heart, I put a black heart around it. Be like, all right, I'll walk through there, and we start doing some financial education first, and then we get them where we got to get them to go. You know what I'm saying?
We don't have no unity though in our community. So that's
what now?
We don't have no unity in our community like everybody else. So that's
we working on it, brother. We're doing it.
Yeah, it's definitely, of course.
Yes.
So Patrick,
it's there. Yes. It's there. The unity is here, brother. You looking at it. The unity is here. The like minds that you connect with, we here. You can't say it's not here no more. We've been saying that too long to each other.
Yeah.
And we keep expressing that narrative, that's what's going to be present.
Yeah.
You have to visualize and materialize, baby boy. Come on now, King.
All right now. Come on now. Come on, Sister Bree.
We the talented tip now. We own the talented tip now.
Oh man.
We don't have to do that no more. I understand your frustration, King. I understand. Trust, believe, we see it everywhere. But that's why we have Fathers and Finances. That's why we have Mommies and Money. That's why we have workshops every single day except for Sunday.
Come on, Bree.
Come on now.
Hey Patrick,
unity.
You just on the Jim Crow stuff, didn't you?
Yes.
What you got for us, my friend?
Well, just to comment on what y'all was just talking about as far as Black-owned banks, there's a few that's in Atlanta. Citizen Trust Bank is a Black-owned. The Credit Union of Atlanta is a Black-owned, and First Choice Credit Union. And I put investments into Greenwood that's coming out soon. That bank hasn't opened yet. But say again.
I was just bigging it up because Greenwood, I'm on the heels of Greenwood as well too. So I'm with you, brother.
Right. So that's coming out. So I've been waiting on that as well. So there is banks that's out there. So when you do get ready to make that venture and bank with your people, they out there and they're waiting for us.
Indeed.
So we definitely can put something out there to them, talk to them as well as far as how we're going to make that movement happen.
What's the bank name again?
Greenwood.
Greenwood Bank?
Greenwood Bank.
Mike, what's his name? Big Mike, some rapper name. Mike something started.
Killer Mike.
Killer Mike.
Killer Mike.
That 2 word or 1 word?
2.
Greenwood is 1 word. Greenwood.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was asking about Killer Mike. My bad. Greenwood's 1 word.
So, Sister Bree, I want to tell you, when you brought up the talented 10th, I got chills. Literally, I feel like we at that point in time with all the stuff that's happened over the past 4 years with this going on, this financial education and people being so hungry for it. I really feel strongly about that talented 10th. I literally, when you mentioned that, chills ran down my spine. So, I appreciate that. That kind of puts everything in perspective. And we need to, in my opinion, we need to not just focus on the talented 10th. We need to grow that to the talented 15th, then the 25th, then the 50th, till we get all the way to 100, baby, because a rising tide lifts all boats. So we don't need to emulate the majority's paradigm, where the majority is focusing on a few being at the top. As their world crumbles, we need to be pulling everybody up.
Agreed, brother. Agreed. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, go right ahead.
What name that bank said what? Pleasant what?
Oh, I can't pronounce the name of that bank, but it's all in Chinese or Korean or whatever, but it's on Pleasant Hill Road.
No, the black one.
Greenwood.
Citizens Trust Bank and Greenwood.
Citizens Trust. Now Greenwood, is Greenwood open yet?
No.
Now I will.
No.
Okay.
I've been following this whole banking situation for a very long time.
So,
All right,
so now you guys know, you know what I got, right?
What?
Wow.
Can I share my screen?
Yep.
Please do.
Hold on. I got you. Go ahead.
Now, how many of you know how to read a bank's financials?
I learned it in college, but I'm gonna be very honest. I haven't looked at a bank's financials since then.
Look at that right there. This is the bank's what? Financials.
Right.
Now, this is why I know so much shit. Okay, this right here is their financials. Okay, all right. This bank right here needs us because look at this. Look at this. Look what loans they did. Okay, this is from the end of last year. All right. What did I say right there?
Dollar amount in thousands, not in millions.
Now, and what did I say right there?
Loans secured by 1 through 4 family residential properties.
What did I say right there?
1,989.
Dollar amounts in what?
Thousands.
They need us, bruh. Okay? They only got 1.9 million in loans.
And the Bank of America around the corner probably got 10 times that.
Do you want to see it?
Sure.
I'll show you. You know me, bruh.
Now, bro, you know we could talk.
Y'all
You know
see some, now this is bank stuff right here, okay?
Right.
Let me get out of this right now, search again.
From the former banker, and like while he's looking for that, I want y'all to understand something. You know, we've been getting a lot of attention, and I want y'all to understand something. All of us got some talent, but you're not getting this anywhere else, man. You're not getting this anywhere else.
San Francisco. All right. All right. Now check this out. Now you saw Greenwood's number, right?
Yep. No, that was Citizens Trust.
Yeah. Now, and all this money, all of this money goes into whose pockets? Now, this is Bank of America now, okay?
The Italians.
Check it out. Check it out. Look at this shit.
Calm down, brother. Calm down, brother. I don't see it, Trevor. You got to show it, man.
Oh, you don't see it?
Line up yet.
Right there.
We not. You getting excited and you ain't bringing us in, brother.
Wait.
He threw that. Hey, look, he threw that in a spades. Oh my God.
Look at that number.
Oh my God.
6.4 billion in 3 months.
That's crazy.
Shoo. In 3 months. And none of that money goes where?
To Americans. It's Italian-owned bank.
Yes. Yes. And
All
and $1.9 million in a black-owned bank only got 1.9.
We got to do better. We got to do better.
I've been saying this.
It gets worse. Look at this. This is the interest, bruh.
Woo.
Interest alone. How the hell you make that much money in interest in 3 months?
And then they be sweating you over a $35 fee.
Factuals.
These are numbers they don't want you to see. See, I can read this right here.
Man.
This is ridiculous. Okay? 401k money right here. 401.
Yeah.
Look at the bank capital. 213 billion in 3 months.
So
you ain't gonna get this nowhere else.
All I'm saying is there literally is 34 black-owned banks in the United States.
The bank financials right here.
Yeah.
But there's 34 black-owned banks in the United States. So what's the issue for us going into a black bank into a white bank?
Because
so
the white man's ice is cold.
I'm sorry, Trevor's gonna tell me anyway. So I feel like
yes. And here's the issue. Once you become a big bank, all the profits no longer have to go where?
Into the community.
Yeah. But when you're a small bank, up to 70% has to go where?
To the community.
Has to go where?
To the community.
Yes. And if you want to grow, who's gonna pay for it? The government. So check this shit out, okay? Not only do the big banks keep all the money, okay, but if they want to grow, who pays for it?
The government. And listen, somebody go fly to Tampa and fan Trevor before he pass out.
The government.
Somebody fly down to Tampa and fan my brother. Thank you. Thank you. Now look, we got one more time. We about to run out of time.
I know, right? My bad.
That's all right. But listen, but that's how we do. We get the Holy Ghost, we get the financial Holy Ghost, and we get to talking. And this other topic, it pertains to really it still pertains to this because it's our mindset. And it stemmed from numerous conversations that I've had as an insurance professional. And we were talking about something else in production meeting as we were getting ready for Black History Month. And I was telling them I was coming off a call where the woman told me, my client told me, that she did not want to, we were talking about insurance. And her statement was, I don't want my children to come up off of my death. So she wanted to have just enough burial insurance. And it made me extremely angry that she's like, ain't nobody coming up off my death. So there was numerous things that went through my mind. Like, first of all, what type of mother is this that doesn't want their children to come up? I mean, that's the thing of motherhood. You know what I'm saying? I can now say this. I'm about to be a grandfather, and I'm freaking excited out of this world. And I cannot wait to get an IUL as soon as that baby turns 15 days old. Like, I'm buying an IUL. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to set my child up for life. I'm going to be changing insurances up, getting extra insurance. So my grandbabies, I mean, this is just, I'm a man. I'm not supposed to be the nurturing one. So a woman, what type of woman doesn't want to nurture their child? And so I thought about it. I said, maybe it's just ignorance. I couldn't figure this out, but this wasn't the first time that I heard this. So I wanted to bring up, and I'm going to show a couple of slides. So Tanisha, if you'll bring up the first slide about the majority community here. So if you look, white people, obviously the majority here, they own 80%, 86% of the wealth, and they make up 60% of the population. So white wealth, as you notice, there's diversified among real estate, equities, and other assets, whereas non-white wealth is mostly in pensions and real estate, which is not bad, but you notice there's quite a bit of diversification. Then I started thinking about it. I said, well, maybe Black people don't have, maybe we don't have the right mindset about insurance. Then you look over there on the right, 83%, the majority of Black people view this as a way to take care of their families. 83%. Then 68% say that they want their life insurance proceeds to pay for a child's college if they pass away. 37% intend to leave a legacy. And then you look right down here at the bottom, but only 28% of people use life insurance to transfer wealth. Now, it may be that many people aren't aware of the IUL, about how to transfer wealth while you're still here on Earth. But clearly, this is an excellent way to transfer it if you pass away. What I wanted to show now, I'm going to, Tanisha, if I can share my screen, and I wanted to talk about these facts real quick before we got into a discussion. So one of the things here that I wanted to show, and let me make sure that I got this screen pulled up here and ready. And this is just a comparison of how we look at certain things. And really, these are just small steps that we can take to overcome this. So as I share my screen right now, this is the average net worth by race. Oh. All right. So, and you look down here, this is roughly 2018. So the average Black, it's going down a little bit, but you still, white people, all up here by themselves, $436,000. And that's a decline over the past couple of years. You get down here, Blacks and Hispanics, Blacks and others are roughly the same, $109,000. Now, most of this is, not including real estate or anything like that. And Hispanics are lower than us. Most people don't know, from our previous classes, you'll know that actually insurance is part of your how they calculate your wealth.
Net worth.
Your net worth, right. So skip past that. These are the assets per capita. So the property, pensions, other, and equity. So if you sit back and look, Black people and their pensions, you're talking about $52,000. But if I scroll up, white people don't, their pensions are down here somewhere. What they have is an other, which is the insurance and other diversifications. And they're all up here, if I can get the cursor to stay right, that's at $165,000 versus down here on Blacks, we're talking about $37,000. All right. And for when it comes down to equity, meaning equity in homes, products, insurances, things of that nature, look where our equity is for Black people in 2016. We're not making 10K in equity. You talk about white people in equity, $116,000. So basically, I say all of this to say that, you know, instead of me getting angry at this woman for not wanting to share or transfer wealth to her children, and I was like, well, maybe if I, and she wasn't the only person. I said, well, maybe if I presented a case that said, you know, all right, let's look at it. You know, we always are complaining about Black people this, white people that, such and such and so and so. Okay, put this into your own hands. Take it one family at a time. Take it your family. Do you want your children to be set for the rest of their life so that they don't have to worry about anything? Educate yourselves on those products that can do that. If you die, that is every single one of us is gonna die. That's like a foregone conclusion. The moment you were born, you're gonna die. Have something set up for your children so you take care of them for the rest of their life. Then find out about products like the IUL, where you can set your children, set them up within 20 years from the moment they are born until they get ready to go to college. You literally can set their future for them with one single product. And it's just simply about you educating yourself. So instead of me getting mad and cursing out and doing all that type of stuff, I said, let me put this out here so that we can discuss it. Now, has any of y'all, Patrick, Marcus, Tanisha, any of you guys that's on here that's a part of this profession, have y'all run into that where you find out that people are running into resistance about leaving a legacy for their children, or they just get kind of skeptical and they're more worried about leaving J's and clothes and Fendi bags and all that type of stuff that'll depreciate, as opposed to leaving real wealth?
For me, no, I haven't came across that, and hopefully I don't. I mean, well, I would, try my best to educate them and help them to change that thinking, because that's not how you really want to think, and you know what I mean, about the life insurance. And it's yeah, I've never had that experience though, with someone feeling that way. Like that's ridiculous. Yeah, but
right. Brother David said we leave our kids with debt. Brother, you absolutely right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to change that after my mom died. I didn't know what my mom went through and my dad went through when my grandparents died. I would never understood that until I got into the financial industry and I started realizing exactly what's going on. But as of now, even with Trevor's words that he told me last week when it came to the trust I set up for my father and making sure that like my name's already in accounts and making sure that there's enough life insurance for the whole family. Like now I'm trying to set all this up. My father's 74 years old. Like he'll be 75 in June. So a lot of to me, what's more important is making sure that the legacy is still there. But at the same time, to build a legacy to stop the I want generational curses to stop, but I want it to start with me. So whatever I set up for my father, it's not going to just be because of my father. It's because of the fact that I thought about my mom and realizing that what we can be is much more amazing than where I am at right now. Because I'm going to, I got to look at it I'm honoring my ancestors now, but in reality, I'm going to be somebody else's ancestor.
Right.
So I want to make sure they remember my name Just like they remember, like, you know, how white people, Asians, whatever, remember their great grandparents, parents' names or whatever, because the fact that they realized that generational wealth was actually needed and actually was intact to whatever they actually did in their life. So that's where I'm at. And me being 36 and now realizing all this is actually happening, when it comes to Black people having those conversations about economic growth and development, we actually have to have those conversations. That woman who was like, I don't want to leave my kids with nothing. See, she's in the wrong mindset of thinking. She has no idea exactly what she's actually disabling her family.
Right.
I was just gonna say, Tanisha,
not actually enabling them to sit there and grow better.
yeah, someone like that just.
What'd you say, Trevor? I'm sorry.
Someone that has that mindset, you know, it tells me that she never had anybody in her life to teach her anything different.
Right.
She never had anybody to show her that, hey, you know, you can have and you can leave, and here's why. For someone to be that ignorant of the concept, it just tells you that she had no one in her life to teach her, help her, educate her, you know. And I mean, it's not her fault, you know. And if she had someone in her life and she totally dismissed it, that's on her. But you know, you want to help those people, because it's too easy just to say, you know, I give up. Right, I'm old. I worked for 40 years. Blah blah. You know, let them try and think themselves. But as you said, Tanisha, you're setting yourself up, your family up for that, because it takes years to change a paradigm. It takes years to change a flow, a direction, family wise.
Right.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Trevor, what's the rate if you allow your money to go to the estate? In other words, you don't set up the proper beneficiaries. What's that tax rate that they're taxing you at? Like to get it out? It's like 40%, right?
Yeah.
Close to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Depends on the state too.
Depends on
the state too.
Because it could be, if there's state taxes involved as well, it could be well above 50.
So Delitha said she experienced that a lot in the beginning, especially being from Baltimore there. She didn't want, the people didn't want their children to come up based off of their death. Like something negative happened to me, now you're gonna be rich. I mean, hell yeah. I mean, everybody gonna die. Why not make your children rich? Why you? And here's the other thing. If the reason I asked about that estate is because a lot of times we don't follow up. We don't have proper follow-up from our insurance people. And so a lot of times the government ends up taking our funds. And if we go and get them from the government, now they're talking about, well, you know, just the reason I asked about that, that's 40% gone. So, I mean, I want you to think about that, man. You got a $100,000 policy and it was supposed to go to you or go to a sister. I'll give you a prime example. I had a client that passed away. He was 87, 88, something like that. On his policy, his daughter, his oldest daughter was the primary beneficiary. She passed away 15 years earlier from cancer. He never changed his beneficiary. So I went out to talk to him, and this is when I was a brand new agent. I didn't have enough common sense to know to check up on the beneficiary part of it. I might have been an agent maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 months at that point in time, but this taught me a valuable lesson. So when he passed away, all of his insurance went to his estate. So it took his family 2 full months to get the money, and then it got taxed at 40%. So if you're talking about if they had left him $100,000, they're only going to receive $60,000. And that man paid on that policy for 30, 40 years. And he meant for his family to get the full $100,000. But just a little form, a minor form where you make a change. His daughter had been dead for 15 years. And his family lost 40% of that income. These are just small things where you got an insurance professional, somebody like Delitha, somebody like Tanisha, somebody like Patrick, Marcus, Tanisha, where they can go in and do a review with you and be like, listen, has anybody, what's happened? Listen, we had a client, I had another client, this ain't funny, some of y'all will find it funny, but he forgot to take his ex-wife off his life insurance plan. and add his current wife to the life insurance plan. He and his ex-wife could not stand one another. And when he passed away, she was like, the hell with him. She didn't help bury that man, and she didn't share that money with his wife. So his family was struggling to bury him. I mean, you're talking about bitter. She didn't help bury that man at all.
Savage.
That's a whole conversation that we need to have. On like that's a collaboration conversation we need to have on a whole nother day. Because I just got upset by hearing that. But I understand that. And I want everybody to realize that it's not the estate tax. There's a lot of states in the United States that have a certain point of estate. You have to know what your estate tax actually is. Right? Texas is the biggest one. It's 40%. All right. So if you live in Texas and somebody passes away, you know, a dead man tells no tales. So obviously they won't be able to sit there and tell you what's going on. But like Washington DC is 20%, Maryland is 16%, New Jersey 16%. It's a lot of things. Like I was looking at Illinois because we have land in Illinois. We have land in Indiana. We have land in Illinois too. So a lot of things that we're sitting just like trying to go through. But I have to make sure that whatever I'm going through, I got to look at it as, okay, numbers game. It's all a numbers game. And once you realize what the numbers game is, once again, how money works for you, you'll figure out like the rate of return is going to school you on one thing. And then you have to sit there and know the tax laws too, because they really try you. As many times they try to like hide the whole, like what did Trevor say about the LLC like 2 weeks ago? Like how it was called like a sole proprietary law, and they changed it up. Like you realize how many black folks out here like, oh, let's get an LLC. It's the easiest thing ever, but they don't realize yet what's actually the implications behind it. So we have to be able to be here and use this platform to be able to speak to everyone and be able to know exactly what's going on in our community. Because we could sit there and say, oh, I signed up for this. What'd you sign up for? And they can't even explain it to you.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. Indeed.
So before we go, any questions, guys? Any comments?
I know everybody probably silent. It's okay. Be silent. It's fine. We're coming back next week. It's totally
right.
Got any last words, Patrick, Marcus, Isaac?
It is. I forgot who spoke on this statistics, but it was. It's important to make sure that you follow up as insurance agents and whatnot, financial agents. You follow up with the clients. And just to make sure everything is good with their policies and whatnot, because you'll be surprised. The beneficiaries, you have to make all of them aware, because people, like Isaac was saying, tons of money, people lose a lot of money, and insurance companies, they're keeping it. They ain't going, either them or it's somewhere lost in their estate and whatnot. But it's important to let everyone know, make everyone aware of how things operate or how things are operated, so everything can flow smooth when all the transitions happen. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Well said. Patrick?
And also talk to your family members and your friends, because the whole like, oh, insurance isn't helping anything, that's BS. You're not going to be able to come up with the way that everyone else is coming up. So if you want to sit there, you want to build some type of generational wealth, you want to start it, look, the best gift you can sit there and give to somebody if you're not here is after death, because they're going to be watching you anyway. And they're going to watch you and make sure that you know exactly what should be like you should do with that money. Not everyone knows financial education, but the whole point of us being here is to make sure that we are financially educated, so we can sit there and make different moves in the next generations above that's going to be coming after us. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to sit there and say. So I'll see y'all.
Hey, Tanisha, this is Dalitha. I just want to encourage everyone to attend our workshops on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. In addition to, Angela just posted in the chat a survey card for any of our viewers to complete, where we can see where they are, the financial challenges they may have or concerns, and more importantly, the solutions we will help to provide. And we also want to invite people to attend our shares on Sunday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to be a part of that, but definitely attending the workshops and getting the education so they can start having more of a voice with our Fathers in Finance. We love the growth with our men. Big shout outs to the regular Mr. David on here. He is always present and accounted for.
Love David.
So that's awesome. Great job tonight, you guys.
All right.
Awesome, awesome. So listen, real quick, on a non-financial note, you know, I'm going to talk about this. I realize I'm turning into my father and my mother. So I'm taking suggestions for the countryest grandfather name that you can think of. So I want to be called Papa. So if y'all think of anything else country, let me know. So when my baby gets here in June, my grandbaby gets here in June, I want to be called, I want to be called Papa.
Papa.
Cool, cool.
That's country. That's very country.
Yeah, for sure. Look, Isaac, when in June? When in June?
I think it's around June 28th. So I'm taking
First of all, my brother's nickname when he was a baby was Papa, so that makes no sense, and that's not a country name. I guess
that is a country name because
I don't know. He's from Chicago, so I don't. Like my grandma called my brother Papa, and my other cousin who was born like 5 months after that, he was Fat Albert. So Papa is not a country name to me. Like Grandpop is pop country.
So you need to go to Mississippi and hear us call my grandfather Papa because
I don't want to go to Mississippi.
It ain't just a regular.
I don't want to go to Mississippi. So.
Papa do it.
Hey, I wanted to say one thing before we get out of here tonight.
Go right ahead, Pat. I'm sorry, brother.
Okay. I mean, y'all was on fire today. I ain't want to interrupt. Hey, let me get y'all hands up tonight. Isaac and Trevor, Tanisha, Marcus, y'all did y'all thing tonight. Delitha, thank y'all for that. One thing I want to leave everybody with is we talked about the different Black bank-owned banks. Right. You don't have to transfer all your money in there, but that is some information that you heard today. And just like the lady that had a problem with leaving a legacy behind, somebody has to make the step.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be, it can be just like when you first open your first bank account, open up an account there, start putting money there. If you feel like you're not wanting, anything and little things help. I like I said, I was looking into Greenwood and Citizens Trust, yes, because they all in Atlanta. Because if I don't do it, I can't talk to anybody about doing it. Right. I gotta have me an account there. And
now you know why. Now you know why, Patrick.
Process.
Now you know why, right? It helps everybody.
You gotta trust.
Right. It helps everybody.
All right. Hey, so just want a quick request, Tanisha. I see all the links in here for everybody that's on with us on the Zoom, but we probably need to put those links in the live as well, so that everybody has them, because if you didn't log on and register, you're not seeing the links. Yeah. So we probably need to put the links on for the live and maybe the Facebook as well, the Fathers and Finance Facebook page. I see you moving, Tanisha, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, as I said, she muted.
Okay, my fault. I got the links already copied and taken away. I'll put it onto the Facebook Live and I'll put it onto YouTube as well.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, have a good night.
Hey, thank you, Brittany. I appreciate you, Brittany, calling me Pawpaw. I really thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Hey, y'all have a good one.
Bye, Angela.
See y'all later.